Hey Pretty Girl Club, in this video I'm going to talk about some of the top reasons that people stare at you. And I know this topic may sound kind of random if you're new to this channel, but I feel like nobody talks about this, but a lot of pretty girls can relate to this. Have you ever had people randomly stare at you? These could be strangers, these could be people at your apartment complex, people at your job, people at the bus station, at the mall. I'm going to name some of the theories that I have as to why people stare at you because I have noticed that sometimes the people that stare at you, they do tend to behave differently than the people who didn't spend all their time staring at you. Number one, I've noticed that one of the top reasons people stare is due to jealousy. I'm sorry. Like, if you're just walking down the street, if you don't even know that person and that person is looking at you and they're already giving you a dirty look, or they already look like they're angry, or they look at you and roll their eyes at you, I'm just going to assume that it's out of jealousy because you have no reason to randomly be mad at someone for simply existing. And I know that this has happened to a lot of you guys because this has also happened to me before too. I remember one time I was actually at work and we were out on lunch and we went to a fast food restaurant. And we were in a city where there were not very many quote unquote black or MLS women or women of color. And I remember me and my coworker, we were both very dressed up. It was a male coworker. So he was wearing a suit, I was wearing a suit, and I was very dressed up because I was going to be on camera that day. And then as soon as we walked into the fast food place, he was like, "Oh wow, that girl over there, she just gave you a look." And I was like, "Who?" And then he pointed to some other like African American descent girl or woman of color that happened to be in the restaurant. And I was like, "Oh wow, I didn't notice." He was like, "Yeah, right when you walked in, she looked at you and rolled her eyes." And I was like, wow. But this does remind me of how this happens a lot. This will happen at like the club. This may happen at the beauty supply store. And oftentimes, in my opinion, I think it could be due to jealousy because there's no reason, there's nothing else that can explain a woman randomly looking directly at me and rolling her eyes other than jealousy. I mean, yes, she potentially could have been quote unquote racist because some people are racist against mixed people. I've noticed there are some monoracial black people who are racist against you if you're mixed, and so they automatically don't like you. If you walk in the room and they can visibly see that you have a mixed race background, then it can make them have a prejudice towards you. Another reason that I've noticed that a lot of girls will stare at you if you're pretty, like just you're minding your business and they're randomly staring at you, it's because she's comparing herself to you. 100%. Like I've noticed this in the gym. Sometimes women will, they'll look at their body in the mirror, then they'll look over at you and look up and down at your body. There also might be scenarios where maybe you did something special to your hair that day. You walk in with your hair freshly done, and then suddenly that girl who was just staring at your hair, she starts trying to fix her hair all of a sudden once she sees yours. So a lot of times other women are staring at you because they are comparing themselves to you. They're kind of like sizing you up in terms of beauty, and they feel like you are beating them. They feel like your beauty is surpassing theirs or whatever. And so this is why I've noticed that a lot of women, they'll automatically stare at other women. And especially if there are men present or if you're in a scenario where the male gaze is present. So let's say a bar or, places that people go to socialize and potentially find dates. I would even say coffee shops are another place because I see a lot of girls, they get dressed all cute and then they go to a coffee shop because they're hoping that they will meet some professional guy, or at least this has always happened to me. Whenever I go to coffee shops in nice areas, I will see other women there and they'll be, their little wash and goes are done or like they have their puffs done, they have their cute scarves on and stuff. And you can tell that, yes, they're trying to look cute and they also potentially want to get their pretty privilege as well. And so I have noticed that sometimes women will stare at other women because they are comparing their beauty to yours or they feel like your beauty surpasses theirs and they just can't resist it. They have to look at you. They can't look straight ahead. They can't pay attention to what they're doing. They just have to look over at you just to see, does she really look like that? Is she really that pretty? And that leads me to my third reason that I believe people stare at the pretty girl. It's because you're unbelievable. You are unbelievably drop dead gorgeous. You are. Even if you feel like you're just a 6 or whatever, don't let all of these people's humbling tactics fool you because seriously, people would not be stopping and turning their heads so much if you were so ugly or if you were so average and so ordinary and if you blended in so well and nobody ever noticed you and you were so invisible, then why are people turning their heads? Why are people breaking their necks? Why are people slowing down in their cars driving when you're just walking down the street with sweatpants on. No, obviously you are very beautiful. Obviously you are drop dead gorgeous. At least that's my opinion. I don't give an F what some random manosphere guy says. People stop to stare at beauty. You stop and look at a sunset. You stop so you can stare at the beach. You stop so you can look at a beautiful, majestic mountain or some trees or a nature landscape. So if people are using those same behaviors that they would use with a beautiful nature landscape or a beautiful newborn baby, if they're using the same behaviors with you, then that is absolute, undeniable proof that you are beautiful. And I've noticed that some people are so taken back by your beauty or your looks to the point where they have to stare because they're trying to figure out, how is she that pretty? Like, she can't be that pretty. This can't be possible. She can't be both tall and skinny and has smooth skin and has thick hair. Like in their mind, they're trying to figure out, how is she that pretty? Another reason that I feel like some women stare at the pretty woman is because they feel insecure or they feel inferior to your beauty. They're trying to assess if your beauty is natural, because in their minds, they feel like, oh, okay, I caught her. She has tracks in her hair. That's going to make them feel better because they feel inferior to you. So they're trying to pick out something about you that is fake. They're trying to spot your makeup, or they're trying to spot like, oh, she's wearing fake lashes, or oh, she has a BBL. Oh, she has a boob job. Oh, she got liposuction. She has a nose job. She has fake teeth. They're trying to spot something fake about you because it helps to soothe their inferiority complexes. And these types of stares will sometimes often lead the people to make comments. Like, some people will straight up ask you, is that your real hair? I swear to God, I have literally, one time I walked into a bicycle shop. The person at the bicycle shop would not even let me walk in. The first question was, is your hair real? So it's like, some people, they cannot help their responses. They have to ask you, is your hair real? Are your lashes real? Are your eyes real? Are you wearing contacts? Do you have veneers? Do you have dentures? Did you get a nose job? What's going on? Like, why is your skin so smooth? Did you get a facelift? So I've noticed that sometimes when people stare, it's because they're asking these questions in their mind. And I would say, number one, it can often come from an inferiority complex, but I would say sometimes it may not come from an inferiority complex. It could come from them wanting some of your beauty for themselves. And so they'll be like, okay, she has on a water wave wig and it looks really pretty. Okay, maybe I'll get a water wave wig. Okay, I know I've done that before. Like, for example, if I see a girl in the gym and she has on a really cute outfit, like, those matching gym sets, sometimes I might look over and be like, okay, so she has some biker shorts on and a matching sports bra where it's kind of like off the shoulder. Okay, now I know what I want to order because, like, that's really cute. So I do think that every time someone stares at you, it may not always be from a malicious place. Sometimes they're examining you because they have picked out a certain feature about you that they like, and so they want to know how they can copy you. So I would say the difference between like a malicious stare and a good stare is, usually if someone is staring in a positive way, they might have a smile on their face, or their face looks more normal, as opposed to like the rolling of the eyes and they're smacking their teeth and they're kind of rolling their neck or whatever as soon as you walk in. But another reason people will stare at you, and I touched on this a little bit, it is the comparison factor. So they are comparing their body to yours, they're comparing their hair to yours, they're comparing their complexion to you, they're comparing their own beauty to yours, or they're trying to decide in their own minds. They're asking themselves, is she prettier than me? Like, I swear to God, sometimes I feel like this is what people must be asking themselves in their minds. Is this girl prettier than me? Does this girl look better than me? Is her body better than mine? Is her hair better than mine? Is her outfit better than mine? And by the way, I'm not trying to throw shade if you are one of the people who ask these questions within yourself, because I do feel like every single person has insecure moments, or they have different reasons that they do certain things. But I have to be honest, because this channel supports dark femininity, okay? So we're not over here trying to play everything the wholesome good girl way. But honestly, I do get a confidence boost when people look at me. Whether they look at me in a nice way or they look at me with a snarl, it still boosts my self-esteem and boosts my confidence, because it tells me that I am doing something correctly. It tells me that I am doing something right. In my opinion, stares are proof of your beauty. That is undeniable proof that you are actually beautiful. Because think about it. If someone is repulsive and ugly and like you don't want to be around them and you're creeped out by them, what do? You avoid eye contact. Think about how we treat dirty homeless people on the street. Usually you don't stare at a homeless person, right? Because you kind of want to avoid them. Or like in society in general, we tend to view homeless, naked people on the street as being kind of like looking ugly. Like no offense, but that is generally how we tend to view homeless people. Like they look ugly, their hair's messed up, their breath smells bad or whatever. And so the way you treat homeless people is you look away. You cross the street. You don't even look their direction. You don't even make eye contact. You're driving by on the street, they're holding up a sign right in front of your window, and you will still look straight ahead even if they're knocking on your window, even if they are, looking directly at you. You won't even notice them because you don't want to notice them because a part of you feels like you don't want to look at them. But if somebody is looking at you, and staring meaning that they are looking at you in a prolonged way, it's because they want to look at you. That's why I say, who cares what people rate you on a scale? Who cares if people say, you're not that pretty, you're not that cute, you're not this, you're not that, you're nothing compared to this other person. It's like, okay, but you're still going about your day-to-day life having people who want to look at you, obviously. You're getting noticed everywhere you go. You are visible. You are being seen. You are being validated. Stares are a form of validation. Even negative stares, even negative reactions, those are still forms of validation and a form of attention. We all know as women not to stare at a guy in a public place. You know why? Because he views that as, oh, she's giving me attention. She's taking time out of her day to look at me. That's an invitation. But have you ever had someone stare at you? Let's say it's your first day at a job or something and a certain lady at the office keeps staring. And then you try to look past it. You're like, oh, this is nothing. She was just looking my way. But then you notice she starts acting funny with you. She acts rude to you, or she purposely tries to ignore you, or purposely tries to humble you. That lady was staring for a reason. And when it comes to people staring at you in random places, like in the grocery store or whatever, I mean, think about it. The way you look is taking them back. They are taken back by you. You are affecting their day. Your existence affects their day. Your existence caught their attention. They didn't come in the grocery store planning to look at you, but now here they are. Why? Well, they're looking at you because you look good. I mean, that's it. Point blank period, you look good. If you looked disgusting, they wouldn't even look your way. They would avoid eye contact with you, just like how you avoid eye contact with a dirty homeless person who clearly looks like they are, repulsive on the street. So the fact that a person is having the opposite reaction with you and they keep looking at you, or they can't stop looking at you, or they're breaking their neck to look at you, or you see them staring at you out of the corner of your eye, or like you look over because you notice someone staring at you and then they try to hurry up and look away. Oh, that's a dead giveaway. They were definitely looking at you. They were definitely examining your beauty. They were definitely looking at how you did your hair, your makeup, all of that. And also, have you ever noticed how, let's say you're at work or church or something like that, and you change up a certain aspect of your beauty? Notice how people start looking at that aspect of your beauty. You changed your hair. Suddenly, you get more stares at your hair the next day. You changed your lipstick, like you're wearing lipstick today. You don't normally wear any makeup. Then suddenly you get more attention. More people are looking at your lips. Yeah, it's because number one, it looks good. Number two, they're noticing it. They're noticing something different, but it's a positive reaction, in my opinion. They're noticing a positive change to your appearance, whether you want to admit it or not. Biology doesn't lie. Anyway, what do you ladies think? Have you ever had people stare at you a lot and then their behavior kind of aligns with why they were staring? Because another thing I didn't even mention is a reason people stare at you, because they want you. So a guy stares at you at work all the time. Yeah, it's because that guy thinks you're attractive. That's why he keeps on looking at you. He didn't have to take time out of his day to look at you. He didn't have to keep walking past your cubicle 24/7. He didn't have to keep on looking at you during the meeting, even when you're not the one talking. What do you ladies think? Let me know in the comments section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.